bring something to.
Sorry, I started a little late.
Okay, so I hope everybody brought something. If you decide to pass after everybody's spoken, that's fine too. So that's the idea of the circle sharing. And so to begin with, I also do want to acknowledge that we want to respect those that have gone before, and we are on treaty land wherever we are, even though we're in cyberspace. We're sitting or driving or parked on treaty land, and we want to acknowledge both those that have been here for a long, long time and those in recent years that have pioneered and broke the land and made it more productive and allowed us to, to have crops and gardens and pioneered this land. So maybe just a few moments of just silence and gratitude for that opportunity to be freely able to express ourselves in this way at this time. May the blessings be. So I've asked Audrey if she would have a piece to start off our circle, so to speak. And if Audrey, if you're ready, could you lead the way?
Audrey was here, but she's not here now.
Okay, then I will share a piece. And as
coming
as
in.
is she coming in again? Is she on her way in there, Guy?
Audrey's here now. She's just connecting to the audio.
Okay, good. Well, I'll just introduce her. There's a concept here that might be good just before Audrey speaks. So. Let me know when she's on, Guy, just in case.
Yeah, she's having technical difficulties yet.
I won't see it. Okay.
So you might as well go ahead, Len.
Okay. So, according to Roget's Thesaurus, which some of you are familiar with, the root word for question is quest, and so quest involves search, pursuit, probe, investigation, inquiry, adventure, mission, expedition, aim, goal, objective, and desire. So I thought those words may be trigger points for our understanding about the big questions, maybe not so much question, but answers we've found, or the quest, the search for whatever it is we are about on our personal spiritual mission or pursuits here. So with that in mind, I was looking at who am I? Where have I been? Where am I going? The journey, the adventure. Sooner or later, we have to face what's in the mirror. Who's that looking? Is that really me? Am I not what I want others to see? Only the best parts of me, not the scars and traces of my history on my face. Every experience, every place. Behind this mask, hiding the frown, the smile, the challenge of the day, without mask, makeup, or stage, without gray and white hair or lines of age. Am I what I see? Am I what others see in me? Creative fiction or reality? Free to be me, who and how I want to be inside this shell, these clothes, this car. Am I this man, this child? A pulsing star. I stand back. I am all of these and none. Yet I am that I am. I am the I. I am soul. Eternal spark. I am soul. sound and light in the darkest of night. So who would like to be next? Thank you. If Audrey's connected, let's hear from Audrey. Still having trouble?
Hi,
Now I-
everyone.
Oh, great.
Hi, Helen. Audrey, can you hear us?
Looks like she's still having difficulty. Welcome, Helen.
Thank you.
Okay, well, who's next? Who brought something to share, either that they wrote or something that inspired them in terms of our theme?
I'll go. I'm not a poet, but I love Margaret Atwood. I think her poetry is better than most of her prose, so I'll read a poem by Margaret Atwood called Heart. Some people sell their blood. You sell your heart. It was either that or the soul.
Sorry
Heart-
about that. It's muted.
Sorry?
Can you start over? Everything was muted for a moment. I'm not sure
Oh.
that was my phone or
I
else.
don't know. I'm happy to start over. Can everyone hear me? Yeah? Okay?
Yeah.
Good. Some people sell their blood. You sell your heart. It was either that or the soul. Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing. Wouldn't you know? Never mind. Ah. Sorry. Sorry, it's a call I have.
Audrey, can you hear us yet?
Well, we're being flexible. Who's next?
Michael Blank. Audrey doesn't have a good stare there.
I'd like to read something, but I have to find it first. It's just on my desk in there. I'll be back.
I went on I read a book a few years ago about a woman taking a painting class, and I thought I should start painting. And then I realized I'm a mess. I can't paint. And I thought, I wonder what my craft is words. So I thought, I wonder if I could write poems. And I just went on a bit of a binge for a couple of weeks and then let that by again. But I wrote a couple that had to do with beliefs and I think some of the big questions. So I have one when we were talking the other night about faith and about feeling that you have a sure knowledge of something, even though you don't have proof of it. So I called this one Knowledge. And I say, when doubts arise, I open my memory box. I remember the way he has always been there. The rescues, the shore calmness, the peace, the encircling love, midnight tears eradicated, assurance of constant care, ever present, ever true, an iron rod leading to ultimate joy. I stagger thinking others don't have this. Let them see his power through me. So.
Very pretty.
Beautiful. Thanks, Eileen.
Okay, can I go?
Yes, Ava.
Okay. This is something that I wrote very early as a teenager. And I was staying, my father was in railway, so we were moving from place to place. And I was like a lost sheep, a lost child in the family, being the middle one. My elder sister and my brother, who was younger to me, both had friends when we went from place to place. I just locked myself up because I was tired of losing my friends and making new friends. And as a teenager, and as junior Cambridge, we had a school magazine. So I wrote, I wandered around the world to find success and happiness, went east and west, north and south, but in the end, I found my soul within me.
Beautiful. Thank you.
It's a common believe that people may not believe in God, but we all believe in spirituality.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, so let's continue with more poetry, and then I'm sure that will spark some further discussion. Are Audrey and Netta back online, or not quite yet? I look to you, Guy, to sort of
Yeah. That was my great niece in Okotoks. I had to say hello to her. Sorry. And I've decided the poem I picked is too bloody, so I'm looking for something else.
And
Okay.
Audrey's still not connected as far as I can tell.
Okay, may I go
Okay.
next?
Jagjeet,
sure.
go ahead.
Who's that? Oh,
Jagjeet.
great. I don't see the full screen, so thanks for the help, Guy. Jagjit,
Okay, this is Jagjeet.
beautiful.
I haven't written any poetry, or I haven't brought any poem here, but I want to talk about T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. He has written that poem, Wasteland, after the World War I, and it was published in 1922. So, and he was heavily influenced by Hindu and Buddhist philosophy. So he says that Prajapati is Lord of creation. He was presiding on three groups of people. Number one, gods with small g, gods, human, and demons. So once their training was finished, their lessons were finished, they were leaving the ashram, and they went to Prajapati, the Lord of creation, and said, give us a word of wisdom. And God say that. So Lord of creation says, just one syllable, da. And then said, do you understand what I mean? And God said, yes, it means control yourself. So second one were humans. And they said the same thing, now give us a word of wisdom. And Prajapati again said, da, and said, do you understand what I mean? And
I'm here.
said, yes, we do understand. What does it mean? It means daya, compassion. And then there were demons, same thing. God said, Prajapati said to them, da. I said, do you understand? Yes, we do understand. It means dan, means charity, giving away. So, and so Prajapati said to all of them, yes, you do understand what I mean. So when thunder says da, 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 it means control yourself, have compassion, and give charity. So that is the root of Buddhism and Hinduism, and that's what T.S. Eliot was describing in his poem, Wasteland.
Thank you for your insights, Jagjit, and sharing. I heard Audrey's voice there. I think she's with us. And do you have a piece to share, Audrey?
I'm sorry, I haven't heard the poetry or anything. What was your question?
Oh, I just said that you're here now. You had something to share, a poem?
Yes, I do.
Great, you're on.
Okay, my poem, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so my poem has to do with compassion, and it's called We Are Enough. We need each other when disaster comes, running quickly with our families for shelter, ahead of pandemics, flames, and mobs. We need one another when we are troubled, with lives changed forever from yesterday by events we never thought would come. no gathering together for food or prayer, no singing or touching the faces of others, no safe place for body, heart, or mind. Yet know that today and tomorrow exist, with the land, hills of grass, mountains, sky, sun, wind, and the spirit of life. We will hold each other close on Zoom, see faces, hear voices, share stories, modifying, adapting, accepting change. Like water moving toward the sea, we are the ones who trust the flow of spirit. We are the ones we are waiting for. We are enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. I saw this Australian documentary, and they said nature, because of the floods and the desert environment, that to survive we need to be adaptable, and you touched on that in your poem. Thank you. I'm not sure if we've heard from everyone that wanted to contribute. We're just Audrey, we've gone around. People either brought something to share or a commentary. We haven't been around quite the circle yet, and I thought we'd keep going around, taking turns sharing, and then that may spark some discussion after. Parwin, did you have a poem that you wanted to share, or you're certainly welcome to share a poem if you brought one.
I felt bad. I was looking in the YouTube, this very prominent lady who wrote this beautiful poem, and I'm sure Guy Blood, he could help me. I tried to find it, but it's a lady singing it. So it's on my smartphone, but I wanted the words, and I'm really bad with searching and finding things. So I tried to search for the words so I could read it. It's a beautiful poem, and I'm sure, Guy, if you hear me, the poem by Ruhiya Khanum called Face. This is Face.
I'll look for it.
If you can, that'd be nice. It's yeah, so I'm sorry. I tried to do my homework, but I'm not successful.
Helen's ready.
Yeah,
Okay.
Helen went to get something before. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll find it. Helen, did you find something there?
I did.
Great.
And I'm just, I was a few minutes late, so I'm coming in today, this afternoon. So I just reviewed the purpose of today's gathering, and it's to do with discussing the big questions. Am I on the right track?
Well, we're sharing poetry, and the idea of the big questions was the overriding theme. And I'd started out by saying that if we took questions and we looked at quest, it is very encompassing about the journey, whether that journey is self-realization or understanding or whatever it brings up for yourself. So we certainly want to be sharing poetry if we brought something that we had created, or sharing from somebody else, but keeping with that theme.
Okay, I'll just preface my poem that was written by Rabindranath Tagore by saying that, have you heard of that famous poet?
Tagore? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure you have, many of you have. So I'll just tell you that I'm coming through a period of intense grief with the death of my partner and housemate, who came to stay with me when the lockdown happened. And so he died very unexpectedly on the 12th of January. And one of my childhood friends sent me this beautiful short poem, which has given me a lot of solace. So if that little preface sounds like it might be something that you would like to hear, Ben and others, I'd be glad to read it.
Yes, please.
Okay. Say not in grief that he is no more. say in thankfulness that he was. But death is not the extinguishing of a light, but putting out of a lamp, because the dawn has come. Just a short few words of translation from the original, which would have been written in Bengali.
Thank you so much, Helen.
Can I say something, Helen? I never met you. Honestly, I could relate. I lost my husband of 37 years of marriage almost 2 months ago. So I couldn't remember all the words, sorry, but that was, yeah, I just want to share, and I feel your grief, and yes, thank you.
Thank you, Parwin. We have to remember, all of us, that through the darkness, the dawn will come.
Yes. And having friends and people inspiring you and what you've gone through, it doesn't matter, you know, people are not just sharing, and that's really, I find, it always helps to go through the grieving.
He's a wonderful poet. There's lots of different translations, of course. He was the first poet laureate that was designated. Whoever gives out these big awards. And there was something that happened that he was the first one who was not a white person who was given the poet laureate designation. And there's something was happening later on, and he returned it. And I just have a lot of admiration for Tagore. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Guy has a poem. He found a poem that was that he was searching for. So, Guy, you're on next.
Okay, thank you very much. And Parwin directed me to this poem, which I found very quickly on the internet, which I'm surprised.
Oh,
with.
thank you.
And so this is written by Rahia Khanum, and it goes like this. To walk where there is no path, to breathe where there is no air, to see where there is no light, this is faith. To cry out in the silence of the night, and hearing no echo, believe, and believe again and again, this is faith. Pebbles and see jewels, to raise sticks and see forests, to smile with weeping eyes, this is faith. I say, God, I believe, when others deny. I hear when there is no answer. I see, though naught is seen, this is faith. And the fierce love in the heart, the savage love that cries hidden, thou art yet there. Veil thy face and mute thy tongue, yet I see and hear thee, love. Beat me down to the bare earth, yet I rise and love thee, Lord. This is faith.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to both of you. That touches in when we had a discussion the other night about faith and what it means. Remember, Eileen? So I think we've gone, I brought a poem in addition to the one that I'd written, and this is called The Music of Heaven. The heart center is opened when the key of love is used. No longer do I walk in solitude when the music of the spheres dwells within me. The heart center remains open when the melodic chords are struck, creating soothing symphonic tones that transport me to the inner planes. Floating upward into the clear blue sky, the sound current carries my light body. Like a feather or a snowflake, I float, resting gently in the arms of spirit. and that's written by Donna Henry, called The Music of Heaven. Who would like to share next? Eileen, I see your hand.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Helen. Sorry.
I'm just going to say, I'd like to just make a comment on that poem then. It seems to me that the poet has grasped something for me, which is true, that heaven is all around us if we choose to see it.
Interesting.
I'd have to see the poem written and reflect on it a bit. But that's what your word spoke to me right now. Just by way
Sure,
of,
I can.
yeah.
I can
And
send
Helen,
it.
And Helen, the phrase that comes to my mind is the most manifest of the manifest and the most hidden of the hidden.
Yes.
Hmm.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Sorry, Len.
Great. No, that's fine. And this is from a publication. I can send it out if you sent me an email, or I'd be happy to write it out and share it with you. If Guy, I can't do it off my cell phone so easily. If you want to put my email address in the chat, if somebody sends an email, I could do it. And if anybody else wants that, we can do that in the chat box. But who's next? Who's next here? Netta, was that a hand up or is that no? Okay. I can't see the full screen, unfortunately. So just
I have another one if you would want to hear it.
sure. I think we're going around and until we're the potluck is all eaten. How's that?
This one is called My Heart Fills, and it's, despite my faults, I know God loves me. His song fills my heart and I am not alone. His power renews me as he shows his daughter his love. Knowing he sees me lets me know I have purpose. While my cup is different than anyone else's, it comes from him and fills my needs. When I commune in prayer, his presence is always near.
Thank you. It's beautiful. Yeah, poetry, very intimate, personal expression. Help me out, Guy. You've got the full screen. If you see anybody with their hand up or going around. I brought a few more. So
I just put Len's address in the chat box.
Oh. Okay, thanks, Helen. I got yours there.
Don't see any hands up or
well
waving or anything.
I'll share one more. I don't want to dominate. It's an open mic, so this is called Sometimes by Melissa Shin. Sometimes all you need to see of the light and sound of God is a sky blue dragonfly with yellow edged wings who lights on a railing you've been leaning against with all your worldly weights. Sometimes all you need to hear of the light and sound of God is a breath of wind, a whispering in the woods, as a fight with a friend still rings in your ears. Then an owl unfurls its wings and glides to another vantage point in the forest. Sometimes all you need to know about the light and sound of God is a reminder that love is always within you. An eye blink away, an ear scratch away, a heartbeat away.
I really like the imaging in that, the concept of leaning against a rail with all your worldly worries and cares. That really said so much in just a few words.
Yeah, if I can write like that, that's the image too of the winter, the snow in the tree, the weight of the snow, like our troubles, our burdens sometimes are overwhelmed, they will release themselves of their own weight if we are patient and allow whatever it is to unfold. I know, Eileen, you might have another one. Netta, did you have another one you brought? No? Okay.
No.
Eileen?
I
I've
do.
heard-
It was I didn't know if I'd be able to share this one or not, but it's I wrote it after my brother's nephew, not my nephew, because he was my sister-in-law's nephew, committed suicide a couple of years ago. And I had just reconnected with him on Facebook, and I could tell from his posts that something was really intense. So this is the poem I wrote. When I heard the news, I was devastated. We had been in touch so recently. I could tell you had slipped, but I didn't know what to do. Should I have reached out? Would it have made a difference? I'll never know, and now you're gone. Your fragile life no longer holds you to this world. May God's arms cradle you as you finally rest in peace.
Thank you, Eileen, for having the courage to read that poem. It's very, poetry allows those emotions to flow in a very special way. Thank you. Audrey, did you have another poem to share? I wasn't sure.
Yes, I could. This one is by Richard Fuchs. It's called We Lift Up Our Hearts in Thanks. For the sun and the dawn, which we did not create, for the moon and the evening, which we did not make, for food which we did not plant but cannot grow, for friends and loved ones we have not earned and cannot buy, for this gathered company which welcomes us as we are from wherever we have come, for all our churches that keep us human and encourage us our quest for life and beauty and love, for all these things which come to us as gifts beyond ourselves, gifts of life and love and friendship, we lift up our hearts in thanks this day. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey.
I found something. I didn't prepare for this. You know, I was thinking of last year when, of course, we partnered with the Stroll of Poets and Parkland Poet Society, and people were just clamoring to get on, and I had not paid attention to realize that we weren't partnering and that we might need something. But I found something that sort of fits our theme from one of my favorite poets, American Mary Oliver. Angels.
Oh, yes.
You might see an angel anytime and anywhere. Of course, you have to open your eyes to a kind of second level, but it's not really hard. The whole business of what's reality and what isn't has never been solved and probably never will be. So I don't care to be too definite about anything. I have a lot of edges called perhaps and almost nothing you can call certainty for myself, but not for other people. That's a place you just can't get into, not entirely anyway, other people's heads. I'll just leave you with this. I don't care how many angels can dance on the head of a pin. It's enough to know that for some people they exist and that they dance.
I love that. I love that. That's Pilpul. How many people can dance? Angels can dance on the head of a pin anyway. I have another one. If someone else has. Shall I go ahead?
Sorry, Audrey.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to comment, Meta, that poem you read us is very encouraging to me.
Yeah, And Helen, I'll get hold of you, but I did not know about Dave, and I'm so sorry. You have all my condolences and that of the Interfaith Center, and we will talk soon. Yes, I'm so sorry.
You've met him, haven't you? Yeah.
Absolutely. Of course, you brought him to everything. I'm so sorry.
He was a good, lovely, gentle man.
Yes, he was. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
so Audrey, yeah.
Okay, this is a poem by E.E. Cummings. It was a very favorite of my best friend who died of cancer about 4 years ago. She used to walk to school in the morning in the autumn sun or the spring and summer sun or the winter sun. And she said this was her mantra for the day. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees and the blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. I who have died am alive again today, and this is the sun's birthday. This is the birthday of life and love and wings, and of the gay, great happening, illuminable earth. How should tasting, touching, bearing, seeing, breathing, and any lifted from the know of all nothing, human merely being, doubt imaginable, you. Now the ears of my ears awake, now the eyes of my eyes are opened.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And then I have one from Wendell Berry that we say at Temple Beth Ora quite frequently. And it's when despair for the world grows in me, and I wake up in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
Well, we've had some beautiful presentations. Is there anyone else that I can only see 4 at a time on my screen? Jagjit, Guy, or anybody have something additional poetry that they might want to share?
Don't see anything at this moment, Len.
Okay. I only brought a few pieces. Audrey might have some more. Eileen might have more. How are we doing? If you use a cell phone in the future for a Zoom meeting, just know that if you get an incoming call, it mutes everything and you don't hear until you can decline the call. So it's a little disjointed. Anyway,
Didn't notice them.
that's the technical thing. I missed out a little bit. So, but that's so. Any comments about? Did that idea of the big questions, inspire further thought? The idea of having a theme. I know the Stroll of Poets and Parkland Poets, the invitation was sent to them, but I know there is a lot of opportunity for poets themselves to share poetry. Twice a month for Parkland Poets, and quite often I think twice a month for Stroll of Poets. So any final thoughts in our wrap up? Maybe you just go around to each person and a little reflection on today's event. one way or another, and before we close.
Yeah, I love poetry. I don't read it nearly enough. I forget poetry exists. I need to be reminded of it. And occasionally it just pops up. There's a local author, Thomas Trofumic, and I happened to see somewhere, I don't know why, a couple of his poems. I thought, my gosh, he's so good and he lives here. And I forget about poetry, and then it's a wonderful rediscovery, but I need to find a way to incorporate it into my life. And I'm going to start on, I never actually follow through with these things. I should find a poem a day. I should find a good source of a poem a day. I think I could really enrich my life with like 5 minutes a day to find a poem. If anybody has suggestions, please send them.
You just Google it, a
Well,
poem a day.
Yeah, but I don't want all
Just Google that.
Okay, as long as it's not inspirational stuff, because I would want like a few of those, but not. I'd want some tough stuff too.
No, a poem a day. Just you get to choose whether you listen, watch, or whatever.
I'll do it.
I
Thanks.
think
You use pop up.
the comment
You
that I
used the
would
what?
make. Sorry.
Go ahead, Audrey.
I say the comment that I would make about today is that what I talked about in my poem about, even though we're isolated from each other, we still have, even today here, have built community because we're sharing grief and the fact that we can be together and talk about that and to share our concern for each other. I think that the online connection has been very, very important in my life, particularly. I've been on with choirs and with an international women's group with people from Kenya and Paris, Denmark, Holland, and all over the place twice a month. And it's just kind of grounded me. And so I don't feel alone. And of course, there are all the meetings, those meetings with quotation marks around them that we have to have. And it beats the heck of going out in 40 below weather with a 30-mile-an-hour wind to go to a meeting, particularly if it's in the evening and, that kind of thing. So I guess this is one of appreciation, and I hope that this group continues for Harmony Week next year. And I will pound the bushes and get more people to come.
I think in Stony Plain in the summertime, there's an event called Cowboy Poets or Cowboy Poetry. So you might be interested in watching for that.
That's wonderful. We have one about in the Stoll Poets. I think it's McElwain. His last name is. He doesn't have any notes. He just gets up there and he tells the most wonderful poetry. In fact, I have books of his in the house here, and it's not necessarily cowboy, but it's really relaxed and covers the whole gamut of poetry.
I think some of us are intimidated by poetry from school. We think it has to be Wordsworth or Tennyson or something, and maybe aren't even aware, possibly, of the contemporary local poets.
Mm-hmm. And they're wonderful, absolutely wonderful. You should get online with the Stoll of Poets or the Parkland Poets.
I know.
I was a teacher for 20 years, and it took me 2 years before I would get up and say a poem for the same reasons as you say, Netta. We had to memorize all of those poems by Shelley and Wordsworth and all of those people. So mostly men, I might add.
Boo
Netta,
Bennett made his tribe increase. That was the one we had to learn.
Oh yes,
Netta,
I know that one too.
I could still recite that, Eileen, still today.
I just did that off the top of my head. I'm sure I could too.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Ava's got her hand up.
Ava?
Ava.
Poetry is beautiful because it's from the heart. It doesn't preach or teach. It's something that people share that is inside them. And that's why poetry is so beautiful. When in prose, when we're explaining or something, it's like teaching. It is our opinion. We're trying to transfer opinion to somebody else. And I'm really glad that we've done this as poetry because it touches the heart.
I've still got so much to learn because I think my poetry education stopped with roses are red, violets are blue.
Sugar is sweet. and sour.
That's better than limericks. Yeah.
Oh, some of those limericks, I'll tell you, they're bad, bad, bad.
They're
Have
not
an
a
English
good- yeah,
has some good what he wants to say in public.
yeah, me too. They're good ones.
Netta, you used the words pop up, something popped up. I was thinking about this. We got pop-up protests. We're not puppets, but I envision pop-up poetry events where, 2 or 3 people get a mic and a stand and go to a mall or whatever and give poetry out. I think, you got pop-up protests. Why not pop-up poetry? Could be on a theme. So we may see that in the future. I hope so.
Yeah.
You see those shelves up on my screen? Those are all poetry. All those books.
I was just wondering if
Book-
you were in a library too, Audrey.
Yeah, I have a library.
No, but you're not at home right now, are you?
Yes, I am.
Well, that's wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because Guy actually is in a library, but yeah.
Are you?
I am, yes. Stony Plain Library, right downtown.
Oh, for goodness sake. I haven't been in that library. I'll have to go there sometime. Yeah.
Brand new.
Judge Ava, one of the things that I wanted to get Ava was that book that Firdaus was talking about with the translation of the scriptures on one side and in English on the other. Do you remember he was showing that little blue book? Zoroastrian. My point is that, and same thing with Jagjit and with Parwin, and anything that you have that has the poetry in English and translation, I really like that. Like I've got Tagore and I even got some gypsy poetry that Alice Major helped a fellow write his sort of dialect into English, and it's very interesting poetry, very powerful things that we wouldn't otherwise have if someone hadn't translated it.
Audrey, we have some Zoroastrian texts at the library at our office, so I'll try to remember to take a look.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Audrey, I have lots of translations by Tagore, because Tagore used to write in Bengali, but then it was translated into English. And then I have some translations, I can send it to you.
Oh, well, that would be lovely. Because the other thing is when I write poetry, you get something that's a trigger. You read something and then it encourages you to write on your own, even though it's got nothing to do with what you read. It stimulates your mind to come up with this wonderful thing. And you write this stuff all down and then you have to cut it all out because it's all, it's not really good poetry, but you do get some kernels of things, Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for coming out today and contributing. Wanted to sort of keep it within the hour time frame. A lot of sharing, and I appreciate the value of poetry as Netta you pointed out, and thank you to everybody for coming. And it's going to be an annual event. How we build it out is open to options and feedback to the committee. So please continue writing poetry, finding poetry, so the next opportunity we can share again. So I want to thank you on behalf of the Interfaith Center.
Each one of us brings one other person.
You're going to get a lot of noise when I start up the.
Thank you very much.
Len,
that was very good, very inspiring.
Yeah, thanks, Len, for organizing this. It was great.
Oh.
Keep doing it.
You're welcome. Sorry about all the background, and you're going to get ignition noise and movement on the screen. So I'm going to cut out. You guys can carry on. Okay.
Remember, at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon is our next event, and that's learning more about Baha'i. 2 o'clock. You know what, Guy? We started that off at 3, but since you wanted it moved to 2, we moved it to 2. So my apologies. 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We'll learn.
Good, thank you.
And lunch
And
and
Yes.
learn on
Arwen.
Monday.
Exciting
we
week.
think
Thank you.
Sorry, Audrey, we're drowning you out.
that's okay. I was interrupting. I thought Len would finish speaking. I was just going to say that Helen and Parwin, I'll be thinking of you. I'll light a candle for you in church on Sunday.
Thank you very
For your-
much. I hope to meet you in person one day. Thank you very much.
Actually, I
Yes,
think we,
thanks for coming.
Our condolences.
Okay, bye now.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.